今天6月3号，南韩的政坛将面临最大的更动，起因就在于南韩的总统大选，尹锡悦去年宣布短暂戒严，而遭到了弹劾下台。韩国已经提前在今天要改选他们的新任总统了。东森新闻也独家专访了 CNN 在韩国的记者，要带来现场的第一手观察。而现在最新的时间就交给玉丽解析。
今天全球关注的焦点就是南韩总统大选。虽然之前已经有提前投票了，但是今天依旧是非常关键的日子。东森新闻也独家跟 CNN 特派员 Mike Valerio 合作，而他仍旧在首尔的投票所前带来第一手的观察。Good morning, Mike. Glad to have you with us. And right now, this election is very special. It was pushed forward because of last year's martial law crisis. And you're watching history right now. I mean, a lot of things happened in between. Trump was elected, and the tariff have impacted the whole world, also this campaign. How do the voters make their most important decision for the country? Mike?
Well, Yuli, you know, as we've been looking at the numbers for EBC's coverage of South Korea's elections here in Seoul, we're able to tell you that the early voting numbers that happened on Thursday and Friday are so far the second highest in South Korea's history. The highest numbers, we should note, happened when early voting happened during a weekend. So analysts are saying that perhaps the highest numbers haven't played out in this snap election cycle because they happened when people might have been voting on a weekday when they were at work. But regardless of that, we should tell you, Yuli, the main question in terms of voter turnout, we're waiting to see whether or not this is the highest voter turnout at the end of this election process in South Korea's history. Because, Yuli, I can tell you, regardless of who you talk to here in Seoul and across South Korea, people are motivated to turn the page on martial law through their different reasons. That is the main reason, that is the main factor, I should say, the overarching factor that is bringing people here to the polls. They may have different reasons to choose a candidate, but they want the chapter of martial law, the brush with authoritarianism on December 3rd. They certainly want to put that behind them.
Another question, Mike. Right now in this campaign, the candidates and their parties has hold very different perspective on foreign affairs. Some are pro-China and some are pro-U.S. How will this election result will affect the future, the South Korea foreign policy? Mike?
Well, I think that certainly depending on who wins, there would be a difference in relations with Beijing. Perhaps not as frosty if the conservative Kim Moon-soo wins. But if either Kim Moon-soo from the conservative camp or Lee Jae-myung from the progressive camp wins, we would expect to see warm relations with the United States. Kim Moon-soo, the conservative, would expect to continue the foreign policy of Yoon Suk-yeol, the previous president who was impeached and removed from office. An unconditional embrace of the United States, supporting the nearly 30,000 American troops who are stationed here as a check against North Korea and China. Kim Moon-soo saying that he would want a summit immediately with U.S. President Donald Trump to sort through trade issues. But when we're looking at Lee Jae-myung, the progressive candidate, perhaps a warm-up in relations with Beijing. The Progressive Party here in South Korea is known for wanting a warmer and certainly working relationships with its regional powerhouses of Moscow and Beijing, which is certainly different from the conservatives who have a very I should say, tense or frosty relationship with Beijing. And Lee Jae-myung, for his part, when we're talking about the United States, if he wins, if the progressives win, he has said in the past, perhaps the United States doesn't have as strong of an upper hand as it projects to have with trade negotiations. So he's not exactly rushing into something if he wins when it comes to negotiating trade. Yuli, back to you.